should.
All right. I want to make sure. He's like, let me put it away from you.
Let me turn it away.
He's like, it should. Let me fix that. There we go. This should.
Wow.
Yes.
Come on,
well, I guess I win by default.
Sorry, I'm trying to not. Why am I not plugged in, Bailey?
Do you guys want headphones, or do you want to hear the dulcet sounds of my voice?
So you want headphones, right?
What's a dulcet?
But
We'll find out soon enough. I think it's a
Aren't you a temporary? Did you know fancy words?
Oh, there it is. This UI is terrible. Let's just get that out of the way.
Thought we already did.
That horse is well and thoroughly dead.
You know? Still not takes us down to the connection between two people 10 feet away from each other.
We'll have to root through China.
Knowing the game, we'll have firewall issues.
Please check with the host at port 1692.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
What are you talking-
Is open on his or her firewall.
Are you kidding me?
Let me try it, Steve.
Are you connecting over guest access?
No, I turned off Wi-Fi.
Have you turned it off and on again?
Because I know that guest access is.
You are probably double connected to Wi-Fi and.
All right, we're fine. It's going.
Wait, no, but isn't that's what we want? We got.
I don't even care what
we're
caused
good.
it.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're
I
fine.
don't even care.
All right. So obviously that was hilarious.
Last time. Are we streaming yet?
Yeah, we are streaming. We're going.
Oh,
They are choosing inducements.
Hi guys, I promise not to curse. Probably.
Yeah, you didn't really keep that promise last time.
Bup.
As long as you don't go to your underwear. There you go.
So yeah, obviously we wanted to, do a little thing where we can have both of them on screen showable, but because of technical difficulties, that's not going to happen.
Yep, sorry about that, folks. What you're looking at, though, if anyone has not seen this league before or not been following these teams, Red Dead Ridiculous is coached by Joshua Pletsky. It's an orc team that's had some pretty fortunate level ups recently. They've got an extra strength on some of the normal orcs. They've got another extra strength on one of the black orcs, for a total of 4 4-strength characters, 1 5-strength character, all without having to put a big guy on this team and risk the reroll trouble that comes with that. Meanwhile, the Pitch Invaders are coached by Sky Knighton.
Hey, Sam?
Yeah.
I heard that team's bullshit.
Yeah, I have it on good authority from some of the preeminent Norse coaches in our league that Chaos Dwarves are totally overpowered and don't belong in Blood Bowl. Some other things about Sky in general is that this will be, if he wins for him, this is sort of like Leonardo DiCaprio finally getting an Oscar, because Sky is one of the finest minds to ever approach Blood Bowl, and yet has never even been to the finals before. So there's a lot of pressure on for both of these guys. It's Josh's second season, and in the first season he fell out quicker than he wanted to. This season he's been pretty ascendant after his friend and fellow newbie David Swanson won season 1. So he's kind of got some big shoes to fill.
All right, so Sky chose heads. Apparently he's not going to have a choice. So they will be setting up their lines, and I'm going to...
So as you can see, Josh chose to receive the ball. That's going to mean that he's going to get the first block. That's useful for a couple of reasons. It means he's got a chance to inflict an early injury. It means he can choose his positioning second, so that if there's a threat on one side or another, he's able to respond to that. There are some significant advantages that come with receiving first. On the downside, if he fails to score, it's going to leave him really under the gun, because in a playoff game, the game's going to continue until a tie is broken, which means if he doesn't score while he's receiving, then in the second half, Sky will have essentially as much time as he wants to figure it out, as long as he doesn't lose possession of the ball, which will probably happen because it's Blood Bowl. I'm going to take a drink of beer, and you can blame the silence on the fact that Chris Bailey just left.
And that's the one that made it to the final.
are seeing here, these yellow squares represent tackle zones on the opposing team. So by turning that on his UI, you can see where it's going to be dangerous to stand, where it's going to be dangerous to dodge out of, and sort of plan accordingly for that as he's preparing for the rush from Josh's team. So now Josh's turn to set up. We'd love to go to a view from his camera angle, but it's cyanide. So here we are. As promised, here's Chris Bailey to sing "Eyes on Me."
Yeah, I'm not really sure where you got that. That was definitely not part of the game.
Well, he's back.
Yeah, I was just making sure that the sound was good and a little bit low, so.
So everyone missed all of that brilliant
No,
commentary.
it was still
Okay.
Where'd you guys want it up?
Nope, we're fine. Don't mess with it. Cyanide.
Well, no, he was gonna mess with the odds, not the.
Anything could happen.
What did I miss? Didn't we have the same field last time?
Yeah, I believe this may be the field selected for finals.
Which sucks because there's really nothing that's going on in this field. Kind of like this game, but I mean, you know.
So, for those of you who don't want to read, the kickoff event means that Josh's team, the Orcs, are receiving the ball and are going to try and score first. Have an opportunity to adjust their positioning by one square now that the ball's been kicked. He can move folks closer to the ball, he can move folks away from or towards the line. He has options essentially to respond to the situation now, which gives him a small advantage. It's not as big as some other kickoff events, but it's still not exactly what this guy was saying.
Well, let's be honest. Help you can get, because Chaos Dwarves are bullshit.
It's not a bad kickoff there. It's a pretty small scatter. I'm not sure if Sky had the kick ability there. He did, which explains why it was so accurate. So it's something that not everyone picks up because it only matters during the kickoff. And some teams choose to play differently. But against a team that maybe doesn't have perfect ball handling skills like Orc, it can add a turn to the start of their attempt to try and kill it by keeping the ball further away.
Honestly, I think kick is kind of underestimated on most teams because even for a team like myself where I'm playing Underworld, I like the fact that I could choose where the ball is going to end up being because if I was to roll a blitz, I could probably steal the ball. And against slower teams like Dwarves, it actually gives me the advantage because I could probably pick up the ball and with as much movement as a werewolf would have per se,
Yeah.
you know, get way ahead so they can touch me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think kick is definitely an underestimated and underutilized skill.
Right now, Josh is trying to choose what he's going to do. The question is whether Josh is going to try and put the ball. No, he's going to bash some faces in.
So I think it's a reasonable move. I think that one of the advantages. Ooh.
Oh, and he rerolls.
That was unfortunate for Josh. You don't want to use a reroll that early in the first turn. It has worked out. He's gotten that dwarf down. No, that is a pretty disastrous result for Josh there. It's not a game ender, obviously. It's early on, and his line is still standing, which means dwarves aren't going to be running direct through it. But he was hoping to get a couple of downs early on, maybe an injury, take advantage of his superior strength, and then pick up the ball. Because, again, ball handling is a little bit of a risk for Orcs. It's not terrible, but they're not Wood Elves.
Totally agree. I mean, the scary part is how this guy is essentially trying to go up. Oh wow, he knocks him down. Going up against Orcs is really scary for most teams just because of the strength differential and
Mhm.
the kind of things that orcs have, in their arsenal. Like having big flying orcs is already a getting at that.
Those plus strengths like
Plus
Josh
strength,
has.
yeah. They just become an orc train. I don't. That technically could be an EverQuest joke if you played that game. You can tell by the last guy I did.
Sky is getting some solid blocks. He's picking where he's going to go. Pretty intelligently, being judicious. As you can see, he's highlighting things, moving people, doing some math, and then changing his mind, and then trying again. But even with that, he's also having some really good success. There's not a lot of he's not being stuck with a lot of both downs, a lot of pushes. He's getting some of the downs that he wants. Because Nuffle, and that's Blood Bowl, Bob.
As you saw, you're starting to push some of the guys across. One of the good things to do strategically is to try to push your opponent's guys off of your line, just so that they're forced to have to just do movement instead of a tackle or blitz, just to get a hit in.
I will say though that round between the two of them, it was sort of a non-event. Josh improved his positioning a little, I think, before he had his turnover. Sky was able to push some people around and sort of undo that progress. But as these orcs stand back up, Sky may have saved himself from a couple of blocks, but other than not having the ball in his hands, we're looking pretty close to where we'd have been without that turnover.
Oh wow, he picked up the ball.
Sure enough.
Don't you mean show enough?
Show hands. Folks, I apologize. I am a couple beers in and I don't plan on stopping.
I follow up.
Bup.
Tuck trap. So did you make these things up, Josh? Okay.
How about you, Sky? Did you name your guys?
Yeah, I did.
Nice. What was your naming scheme, or did you just go as dwarfy as you could?
Named after Babylonian king.
Nice.
Chaos Dwarf Blocker is named after Babylonian demon. And Bull Centaurs are named after Marduk and Ashur.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. So for those who didn't hear, it's a Babylon theme. Kings, gods, and something. Devils, yeah. So basically, the more powerful those guys are, the more important of a character they got.
Well said.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, last season's champion is so creative he named all of his characters Thor, which made casting super fun.
If you can't tell, that was a lot of salt from the loser of the last season.
Bup.
Here's a wild animal.
It's a pretty substantially different set of finals this season too. Last season, the Thors are a bashy team, right? We were looking at a Norse team. They hit hard, but they're still a glass cannon, very low armor. They were going against Underworld, which is even lower armor. Whereas this season we're looking at Orcs and Chaos Dwarves, which is going to be deeper and is going to mean, I think, a little bit more of a grueling bash fest at some point. One of them is going to find a good opportunity to draw the other one into a slugfest that they can get an advantage from.
And I honestly think these are two very balanced teams, like compared to each other, because they have a lot of flexibility in what those teams can actually be built into.
I think that's fair, yeah. Although it does require some roles to build your chaos team, which fortunately Sky's gotten. He's had the ability. He's gotten a plus agility on one of his bull centaurs that is really going to help his pickup later on.
Yeah. I think also with the Chaos Dwarves, you're going to be a lot more strategic whether or not you're going to blow the ball or whoever you're tackling. Whereas I think Orcs, you're most likely going to so you can have that follow-up hit.
That may be.
I'm not really as afraid of being knocked down as the members of the Chaos Dwarves might be. 'Cause I think having someone knocked down on a Chaos Dwarf is maybe a little more harmful than having your Orcs. Because at least when your Orcs are grouped up, you have a pretty sizable wall.
I think that's fair, but I think positioning is going to be pretty important for both of these teams.
Oh, I would agree. I agree.
Also, going back to that strength advantage we were talking about before, where you know, Orcs start with quite a bit of force strength, and then he's had a couple of plus strength. You see Sky here doing a lot of mouse overs to see what blocks he can reasonably make to punch a hole in that line. He's mousing over, he sees some red dice, and goes back and mouses over a different one. This doesn't mean that he's not going to get some solid blocks. Again, positioning is going to be key, but you can definitely see it come into play, and it's changing the way this normally bashy team is dealing with his opponent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this guy's a very strategic person. I mean, he's obviously trying to do what he can because he doesn't want to get muffled.
Nuffled. The fact that it has absolutely no noise.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, the
Is it even possible to get riding on this?
on the field?
Yes.
Because there's nobody there.
Yeah, there's no way. Like when you ride, what does the sheep come over? And
They bus spectators in for the riots.
They just pop out of their helicopter and
Yeah,
just like
it's-
tackle you from the air.
It's pretty important. It's for the Cabal Vision viewer. But yeah, a little bit of crowd noise, a little bit of music would definitely enhance the spot. I have nothing to say.
Like that.
Yep. Dave, your job is to whistle in between.
Oh god. So then we just have comedy.
It's a good show.
I thought Omar could whistle.
He could in the show, but the actor cannot. They actually
Oh.
have to get some white.
She whistled for him.
That was hilarious.
I should watch The Wire again.
You should wait because it's going to be on HD.
I should wait. That sounds great.
Do any of your teams have cheerleaders?
Gentlemen, cheerleaders, assistant coaches.
Really? Even their mother showed up for this game.
That's right, Bob, Jim, whoever you are.
Bob Jim.
Wow, he moonwalked and then turned. It's a very dangerous orc here.
I think stand firm is another undervalued skill that Sky went ahead and took here. It's controlling his Josh's ability to open a hole in the line. So, you know, folks will often skip it for something flashier. They'll take Mighty Blow, and then they'll take Claw, and then they'll take whatever they can to just sort of, and even piling on, just to beef up the damage and to minimize the dice rolls they need to take. But again, that doesn't think about positioning, which is really going to be the difference in this matchup and in a lot of matchups when you end up with two teams that are both, you know, murder trains.
Just rotating to the right. Hopefully
Mhm.
they can try and break through.
I feel like that right there was a pretty nice slide into a hole in the line. Sky might surprise me and prove me wrong, but that you can see progress is being made, which against Dwarves with stand firm is not a small thing.
Was that a dwarf joke?
It could be. Dave, you have a short fuse. Hey, it's just a little humor.
Alright. Rein it in. Rein it in.
You either need more beer or you need to stop.
Well, we know one of those things is not going to stop. Gonna go for it? You gonna bring the pain?
Yep.
He's reconsidering.
I'm not going to give an opinion. So, as you guys may have been able to tell on the stream, we are in the room with these guys. There's no cone of silence. So, as a result, we are trying to keep our focus to the overall strategic level and not talk about some tactical. Oh my God, that's
Where's your Babylonian guy?
that was significant, guys. That's a significant failure. Making that block would have put a lot of guys on that ball carrier, including Bull Centaur with 4 strength. Instead, he's down a Bull Centaur, down a tackle zone, and Josh kind of has the initiative here.
That whole center had dodge, or was it tactical break, or was it?
Yeah, that's some Bull Centaur shit.
Again, stand firm doing work.
Yep.
I mean, we still have a lot of field to cover. Like,
No, absolutely.
we're turn around.
We're talking about turn 4. He's halfway through his half, and he hasn't quite made it over the 50-yard line. That's despite the fact that he's making some admirable plays, and I gotta say, winning each of these rounds. The progress thus far has not been what he's going to need to see for the rest of this half if he wants to score.
Well, to be fair, I mean, a lot of times you want to stall the ball so that you score right before it goes into the half.
Absolutely, he's got more time for murder too. He is the team with the higher strength. That's fair, although against high armor, thick skull, he may or may not get those murders. That right there was a pretty good breakaway.
Yeah.
If he can protect that carrier, that was significant progress.
Woo!
Oh,
Free for all, 1 out.
Well, at least he didn't die.
it's true. Sky, I think rightly, now that it's already done, and I can say that, chose not to re-roll that. It is just a knockout, but it's tough. In the finals, you're tempted to re-roll anything that takes your guy off the field, especially when you're not likely to suffer a lot of injuries like dwarves aren't, because you want that body there, so that you can at least win the drive. It's sort of everything. You're not thinking about next match. You're not thinking about next season.
I think Josh is playing the same way. Like, I mean, look at the way that the whole field is set up. His Orcs in a very good position throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this Bull Centaur just sucking his thumb. Poor mother. I'm sure his mother is watching at home. Just very sad.
Mother is Tiamat, the free interrupted universe.
Unfortunately,
That's why he has a career in Blood Bowl.
unfortunately, Tiamat is not as powerful as Nuffle. Nuffle, great god of fuck you.
One thing that's always important to do is to stand up all your guys. If you don't plan on actually doing a really solid action with them, like going for a blitz,
Mm-hmm.
you should always make sure you get your guys up.
It's silly how often people forget the sort of basic order of operations for Blood Bowl. He's considering a go for it. It's not a terrible move, honestly. There's merit. There's also risk. Sky's been lecturing me on Go For It ever since bad Go For It knocked me out of this very game. But that's not a reason not to do it. It's often easy to overvalue the most recent lesson you've learned.
Very true.
And he's going for it. He's going to do it. Let's see if he's more successful than I was. And he is. Ball carrier is covered.
And that's why he's in the final tonight.
Shut the fuck up.
Ouch, what was that? What were the rolls? Yeah,
So we just saw KO on one of Josh's Orcs, and now he's faced with that same tough decision. Do I save my reroll in case someone dies? Or do I spend it here to keep this guy in the game? Because it's a knockout, he could come back later anyway, but nonetheless, you consider things that you might not normally when there's a cup on the line.
What were your inducements for this game? Wise decision.
Those Bloodwiser Babes are going to come in real handy for getting that knockout stood up. For those not familiar, Bloodwiser Babes add 1 to your die roll. A knockout is a character who's out of the game until the next drive, either because it's been halftime or because there was a touchdown. Each time a new drive starts, you get a chance to wake up your knockouts, and the Bloodwiser Babes help with that quite a lot. To my mind, they're the best inducement for your money.
I mean, going against depends on the team.
Of course.
Either way, they're pretty good because if you roll poorly, you will get knocked down, and you have to try and recover from that.
Yeah, I can imagine in a scenario where I had 50 inducements as Chaos Dwarves or high armor. There's that break tackle doing what it's supposed to do.
That hit not so much, but
no, the hit not as much, but even so, he's still he's able to close in there, and now he's a significant threat because again, that break tackle is going to help him. He'll help him move out if he needs to and get away from there.
Have we explained what break tackle actually does?
I don't think we have. You want to go for it?
Sure. So normally a player dodges based off their agility skill, the abbreviated AG on their character sheet. But what break tackle does is it uses their strength. So for people like the Centaur, it's actually very good. I mean, they have I think they're 4 strength.
Yeah, they have 4 strength.
I think they're 2 agility? Yes,
And
they
2
are.
agility.
2 agility. Like that. So for them, it's very good.
Yeah, it essentially allows them to dodge like an elf. It doesn't help them for things like ball pickup. It doesn't help them for interceptions, anything else you want to do with agility. But frankly, dodge is by far the Holy shit! Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you save your apothecary even in the finals. Marduk is okay, but that was still a pretty disastrous dodge to miss. Tiamat is pissed.
I was gonna say, do you think he just got to the time, or whatever, to the mat, to the ATM mat, you know?
I think it's his aunt. That's Tia. Yeah.
That you did.
Yeah. Tia Matt, or as we say in English, Auntie Matt.
I don't think we say that, sir.
So Sky is, I missed the result there. Is Marduk back for next drive, or is he out? He's back next drive. So that was a very judicious use of the apothecary. But again, having to use it on team 4 or on turn 4 has got to put Sky on edge.
And sometimes it's not even worth it because you could just have the apothecary not know how to do his job. And you get another death.
Yeah, that was an exciting moment, ladies and gentlemen. If you weren't excited, then fuck you.
He has not drank another beer. He is still on the same beer. He's just maybe more rowdy.
We're going to stop casting this match, guys, and start casting my drinking habits. Expect a wild ride.
So, I mean, what, it was just 2 turns ago, and we felt as though Josh had a very solid coverage of the field, but I mean, we can see that it's already changed so significantly.
Exactly. And Chaos Dwarves, their movement is not impressive. I would say Sky has still got to be sweating at this point. It's going to be tough for him to move the rest of his team over there. So a couple of lucky breakthroughs could be enough for Josh. But you're right. The situation has already changed dramatically. That go for it was an excellent choice. That break tackle was just what he needed. Even with Marduk's second failed break tackle dodge, which is pretty extraordinary knuckling on its own. But even with that, I've got to say, Sky may be able to stall this. You got to remember, he doesn't need to regain possession. He just needs to prevent that point.
That sounded weird. Yeah, I know.
So those little lightning points mean that Josh is checking a few of his options so that he could blitz with that character. Unfortunately, we can't show you his thought process the way we can with Sky because, again, we've only got one screen to work with. But that's what you're seeing when that lightning pops up. He's going for something. He figured out his move, and it's successful. It's an interesting choice for that blitz to go for characters that aren't near the ball. I think Josh has quite possibly determined that his best move is going to be to try and get some more knockouts. He sees those two guys on the sideline that he already pushed down. He thinks maybe I could get a real injury here, which might explain why he ran backwards into a cage.
I mean, he still has a significant amount of turns. He needs to make sure that his ball carrier is much more secure. That's what both of his team is.
Yeah, but that cage is between two Chaos Dwarfs. Yeah, they can stand up and can attack, but you see they're giving him an assist now, and Josh has got to be glad that ended up a pushed result. It put him in a better position between his own Orcs. And going backwards is not an unreasonable choice. There are times to do it, and this may have been one of them. But it's a bold tactic, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for him. God damn you!
I think he's being racist. I can't tell.
Nobody knows your Asian, baby.
We got some really nice, judicious blocking going on from Sky. He's considering a dodge here. It's a little scary.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Orc is not looking. Also, that does not matter in this game.
So it looks like that Orc doesn't have tackle, which helps a little bit. He's going to get that dodge, but even so, dodging with free agility is it's not nothing. And it's his own player. But it worked out, and now he's got some downfield coverage in case there's a breakaway play. Something he really does need to worry about, considering the quality of Josh's blocking so far.
Damn from doing work again.
Yep, absolutely. It's a solid takedown, but unless he's able to actually move that ball forward, he's going to be right next to that same dwarf again, irregardless not being a real word.
It's okay, I'll check right his left. You won't blame me.
Yeah, who we still got?
Alright.
Still a pretty decent audience.
Shut up for your game.
But. Yeah. Bailey's just salty because he hasn't been in the single finals yet. This league or the last league.
But yet, I still make the finals happen.
Yes, thank you for doing the bitch work and setting up our technology. I love you. Tune in next week when Bailey and I mud wrestle.
I'm pretty sure I'd crush you.
I am slippery.
Wow.
I don't want to go to that joke.
And distracting. Have you seen these glutes?
I'm gonna need more beers, I think, for this.
Wow! That was a bold handoff, and I think it's gonna pay dividends. Holy shit! Ladies and gentlemen, this is Josh playing his orcs like elves. That might be the point that gets him this half. That was a significant play, guys, and not without risk. But it was brilliant. He identified a character who wasn't covered. That was the best handoff he could make. And it's easy to forget that so many of these orcs have 3 agi. They're okay. They're not great, but they're average. They're not bad. That was a more tactical ball handling game than I think we're used to seeing from Josh, who is
He agrees. He agrees.
who plays a good game, but he plays a bash game. That's what he prefers. He's really pulling out all the stops to try and make this championship happen.
How is Sky gonna answer that?
I don't know. He's
I
not.
feel like he has some options.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure which one he's gonna go with.
Yeah, he's not without options. He can, he can play it safe and just allow it to happen and not risk any more injury. He can go for it like that. Go for it's for Sky, by the way, we should point out, are less risky. I think the chances are astronomical, as a wise man once said. Which is to say 1 out of 36. It's not nothing. But he has sure feet. It's sort of a feature of both centaurs is that they've got that. And as you can see, it gave him some great placement to stop what could have been a devastating play.
Covered anyway for more people of Josh's team to get some ball handling.
Right, and to cover those tactical retreats, right? Josh made one once. I gotta be frank, I was doubting the wisdom of it, but it's really worked out well for him. So I think Sky's, he's considering not just the forward, that right there is a risky play with huge dividends if it works.
That dodge right there. That dodge right there.
Oh my God, and he did it. A dodge to go for its hand block.
And
He
people
got
just
what he
randomly
needed,
show up.
but the
Shit!
and the ball came back in exactly where he wanted it. Ladies and gentlemen, that may be the play of the game. That depending on how things go forward.
I don't know exactly.
It's
what
hard to
one
say.
is the term I would use for that ball.
Sky, let's hear your analysis.
I think the oh shit part was enough. I mean, the interesting part is even if Sky does get the ball, he has quite the fight to go through. It's right in front of him.
Oh, I don't think Sky's going to try to score it if he gets the ball. At this point, Sky's main objective is going to be finish the halftime.
I don't know if you've heard, but bull centaurs apparently teleport across the field.
That's right. I had forgotten that Chaos Dwarves are such a bullshit, and they're super overpowered.
Half of the Norse in this league, not the full Norse.
Dave Swanson says he agrees and is also a little bit. Well, Dave, if you don't like it, maybe you should handle it on your own stream. Oh, you don't have.
Maybe you should handle it on your own
Oh,
stream.
you don't have a stream? Guess you better shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry, which stream is this? Oh, it's mine. Maybe you should shut the fuck up.
Would be filling all this dead air between your segments.
Oh my god.
I love you. Everybody subscribe. For real though, come on. This is good, right? Come on, subscribe.
I feel as though Josh can still repair the situation. He has,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the question is like how dicey
Like
do you wanna make
his orcs are far. If he wants to score, he's gonna have to make some plays. Again, that's risky. He could still win a long game. He's got less armor, but he's got more bash. Like he could say, you know, I'm not gonna take the risk, and I think that's a reasonable play. He could also, you know, do something flashy, and I think that's a reasonable play because it'll put Sky under the gun. Like he's got choices, and I think they're all really valid.
I mean, he has 2 turns, he has 2 rerolls. We have a good chance for some magical stuff could happen.
That is possible. That could happen.
What kind of orc?
Ooh! Woo! That right there. So it's interesting though, right? Josh, again, his Bashy instants are coming through. They may be the right thing a lot of the time. They may be the right thing right there. But he did just spend a reroll on a guy who's not off. Now that may free up his guys to move more. It also could have caused an injury that gives him an advantage.
And he's gonna pay for it.
I'm gonna go ahead and say now that it's over, that block right there was probably a bad call. He blocked without block against the dwarf who has block, who's probably not gonna take an injury anyway. I think he was trying to free up that black orc to run down there and support, and I get the desire to do that, but
Well, I believe it's sure.
oh really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right.
Tune in next week for. Oh, it's still displaying. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can't see what just happened. Tweet us at I have no idea what's going on. Don't tweet us there. That's probably someone else.
They probably don't know what's going on if you tweet.
Yeah. We're gonna try and get some visuals back, but you guys are gonna have to do your own commentary.
I'm going to wait a little bit.
Have you got the pause menu up so you're not taking down time? Alright. So guys, we got some courteous players. They've gone ahead and popped up the pause menu so that we don't waste your time. So right.
I'm gonna have to unclose the pause.
Yeah,
menu
that's
in 10
cool.
seconds. Alright. So,
I'm now gonna gargle while doing ventriloquism. Trust me, it's happening right now. I'm holding a dummy on my lap, and it's saying these words while I gargle. It's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Plutsky being a dick, you may not have heard him, and that's probably all to the good.
How's that ball?
So, how we doing?
We're getting there. We're almost there. Technology is a thing. Alright, well, our players decided to go use the bathroom. Or,
Yep.
okay, one of our players decided to go use the bathroom.
So guys, this is a little intermission. I think you've probably got a good 120 seconds during which you can go get some popcorn, go click the subscribe button, go get some beer. That'd be my recommendation. And we'll have this up soon.
So, both players have currently just gone to the toilet.
What's
So,
that?
I said both players have currently just gone to the toilet, so if one of them doesn't come back, the other one's probably beating him up.
Right.
So,
I'm pretty sure Sky was.
Yeah. So the players have both gone to the restroom, and one of our spectators and guest commentators, Paul Cox, has just made a great observation, which is by some of the little-known arcane rules of Blood Bowl, if one of them shanks them in the bathroom, that could be a victory. So as soon as our players are back, guys, we'll get back underway. We've got picture here. As you can see, there's a resume match button. For those of you who don't know, it resumes the match.
what does the abandoned match button do?
That's a great question, Paul. The abandon match button, it abandons the match.
Oh, right.
Right.
Okay.
And the save game button apparently does dick all. They're coming back. They are chatting collegially, which means they have successfully fixed the match and split up the bribes, and one of them will throw it shortly. Collusion!
alright. I see our.
Alright, let us resume. Please do not hit the other button.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah, if you accidentally hit abandon match, I am gonna finalize it.
Son of a bitch.
So, the last play was a both down block on Sky's part, but as you guys may have seen just before the lights went out on us, he ended up with a successful reroll that allowed him to take the folks down he needs to, and he's got possession. He doesn't need to score. Frankly, he can't score from his current position on the field, but this is going to make it far harder for Josh to get the ball and make that point in the first half, which we were talking about the advantages. The advantage in the first half is your injuries, and he knocked a few people down. Sky got a lucky apothecary, but he used it up, so, you know, Josh got what he wanted. But we also talked about the disadvantages, which means that if you don't make that point, you lose tempo. Now you're behind the gun, and the other guy has as much time as he wants. And as a result, I think they've both kind of gotten the best out of this that they could have, and we're looking at a really interesting second half.
So this guy decided to try and throw the ball across the field to increase the distance in which Josh had to go. Unfortunately, he has 3 agility, so he was just banking on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was reasonable. On a 1, you fumble the ball. Otherwise, you can at least do something. It may not land where you sent it, but he's not trying to get a completion. He's just trying to get the ball some distance. And unfortunately, he rolled that 1 anyway, and that's Blood Bowl, Bob. That's right, Jim.
Josh still has 1 reroll. He still can.
No,
He can make this happen.
This is a doable point. Like we're down to a tense moment. He's got a reroll. There's a gentleman guarding the ball. That's going to mean 2 things. 1, Josh's pickup is lower. 2, Josh has to make a dodge to get away from him. Alternatively, you could throw a block at that guy, try and get him out of the way, but there's risk involved there too. It could fail it. So,
But really, is he losing anything?
well, I mean, all in all, it's going to be exciting either way. There are risks to take to get that ball across the field,
Yeah.
but he's I don't want to say he has no choice, but he's got no choice. Josh made his knockdown. That block could have pushed the gentleman towards the ball. If he'd gotten anything but a knockdown, it would not have done, because a push would not have kept him away, would not have broken that tackle zone on the ball. So that was a very fortunate block, exactly when he needed it.
I mean, it was still scary because I wasn't sure whether he was going to try and pick the ball with that character or not. I mean, those big black orcs have agility, so picking up the ball is kind of a.
And as you can see here, this leaves him in a scary spot. He's looking at low agility folks trying to move. Oh, that pickup failure is going to mean no points in the first half. It's going to mean in the second half, Sky has the initiative. Sky's going to be able to take the time he wants to make the decisions he wants, and maybe win a game of attrition. Maybe simply take that 1 extra turn it takes to get him the point. This is a bad result for Josh. It doesn't take him out of the game, but it's rough. And now I'm going to go to the bathroom and hope I don't get shanked. Excuse me.
Well, that would be unbelievable. All right, when Dave's still here, so you're going to be okay. It is true. Dave just wants to live here. As you can see, one of the guys did get back up. There's a hard one. Oh, he gets back up too. Question is, could he keep going back up with the other guy? He probably needs to go. Let's go. So we finished, we recovered all of our players. I believe, right? This, no one's really injured, so. Yep. Hopefully Marduk has a better second half.
Right, he died in the first half. May as well go balls out second half.
I mean, he also, he failed his break tackle on the. I guess since we're waiting for Sam, I'm also gonna use the bathroom. Nothing.
All right. Oh, Bailey off, Ian or something?
Yeah. What kind of Yeah, so guys, Bailey left. I don't know what kind of unprofessional guy would leave in the middle of casting like I just did.
It's his stream, you can do what you want.
That's true. It is his stream and he can do what he wants. And again, guys, if you haven't subscribed, I highly recommend you do. There's not a ton of Blood Bowl casting on Twitch, which is criminal. Bailey does a good job, and let me tell you, this league has some good games. Our play rate's not frequent, but you don't want to miss it. So subscribe.
You know, the best part is I don't have a subscription option.
God damn it, Bailey, you don't have a subscription option.
I'm not a
We've
part.
been talking this entire time.
Not even
All
a
right,
part.
ready?
Okay, I don't know, bookmark us, guys.
But yes, you can follow my channel.
Follow his channel. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Obviously. God damn it, Bailey.
Okay, no, we're still setting up lines.
Yep, so we're in the setup time. Bailey is setting up lines of cocaine, as he just admitted.
Whoa! Wow!
Right here on the stream.
Wow, there, buddy.
Um,
All false. Completely false.
so at this point, frankly, right, these guys, it's the last play of the half.
Last play.
It's the first play of the second half. So all the things I was about to say don't mean anything, and I'm going to sit back and have a think about my life and what I'm doing.
That's what I'm working with. So obviously we need to get some traction going on in this game. I mean, it's been a very exciting first half, but this game is not going to end on 0-0. You can't do that on a playoff.
Absolutely, and I think we're going to see a pretty dramatic change in style from both of these guys, right?
I think they're both going to get a little bit more hungry.
Right, absolutely. Sky's going to need to be... He doesn't have to be aggressive. Again, we were saying he's got a tempo advantage. But nonetheless, with his guys getting knocked out the way they have and the lack of an apothecary while Josh still has his, he's going to prefer a short game to a long one if he can do it. Meanwhile, we're going to see Josh switch into defensive mode. I'm really excited to see what he pulls out here, considering how much he's switched up his offensive style for this match. Making passes, doing handoffs, and breakaways, backtracking. It's been a significant change, and I think he's better for it. So I'm excited to see what he brings us in this half.
Very interesting lineup. You see how he's trying to actually go up to the... Okay. Well, at least it's not a blitz. I feel like a blitz would have been...
Pretty
Well,
disastrous, yeah.
It wouldn't be that bad. Because you only get a chance to blitz if you're on the line. Since most of these guys are on the line, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
That's true. As you guys can see here, both of these guys have pretty much posted up for a knife fight in the middle. Like it's Sharks versus Jets, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are all on the line planning to bash the shit out of each other, which makes it interesting that now Sky's dodging them all away.
Well, I mean, with the quick snap, he doesn't have to be there. And he doesn't have a chance of being knocked off.
So you think what happened here maybe is that Sky stood up a strong line, hoping Josh wouldn't go all in. Josh went all in, and this quick snap is allowing him to backtrack.
Totally. I mean, would you want to fight orcs right in front of you?
I would not.
I mean,
Bear in mind, I'm the wrong half of a Skaven team and the wrong half of a Goblin team. So I would not.
I mean, even with my underworld team, I don't think I would ever try and go toe-to-toe with orcs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, orcs in themselves have a very significant strength lead on most teams.
Yeah, orcs are nasty. There's no two ways about it. And especially orcs who've had a season to level up, who've had a season for their coach to really figure out how they play. You know, they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I think it's old. Guys, I may be drinking a 10-month-old Racer 5. I don't know. I'm not sure how it's been stored. So,
I think it's been stored in the fridge.
for at least the last 2 weeks of its life. That is true.
Because you're going to finish it?
Well, I am. Or it will finish me.
I'll take your shot.
I think by Levitical law, Josh has dibs. So that pickup right there, that was real good for Sky. Again, both of these teams are not high agility teams. Every time there's a pickup, like, unfortunately, this UI doesn't show you a lot of drama, but frankly, it's dramatic. There's a risk of turnover there. You got to get that ball, but on the other hand, you're giving up the things you're good at to do something you're bad at first, because it's so important when you're a bashy team like this. So the fact that he made that pickup, that's very good for him, and is the way he wants to start this half.
I think you're making a good point. There's times you have to sacrifice your strategy for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you play a basher team does not mean you have to fully commit to it.
Exactly, and that's why Josh made that handoff earlier. That's exactly right. And I think ultimately, we're going to see some similar trade-offs from Sky. Although maybe not. Sky is actually Sky is a strategic player over a tactical player. He studies the game intensely. He learns plays for his team. He makes a game plan in a way that I know Josh tends not to. Josh is more improvisational. He'll have a starting plan, and then he'll immediately pass that, change direction because of what he sees on the board. So we're looking at very different play styles here.
I think it's very important that the orcs are actually starting to get knocked down. It's going to be pretty big for that to happen. So we're in the third, because again with the big black orcs, they're just a wall. You just need to get through it. I mean, even with people, you still have to give some courtesy room.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and something we haven't talked a lot about, those orcs have guard. So in a world where we're not looking at guard, we're just looking at black orcs with plus strength, which is already unreasonable. In that world, we could still maybe pick off a block here or there with a bull centaur. It's force. They're also force strength. You can find that thing that makes sense and just hammer it, right? Yeah. But in a world where there's guard to contend with as well, the times when Josh loses any block, unless it's a guy on his own, unsupported, they're just rare. They're just rare. And that leaves not a ton of opportunity to push that line, to make the room he needs to break that bull centaur through, because break tackle or not, you try and run through 3 tackle zones, you're going down. Probably.
Yeah.
Nuffle will it.
Yeah. And I think both of these teams are very well built around their own strengths. I think this game would be totally different if one of the teams were more agility focused or very more dodge focused. But because of the way these two teams are, it's been a very good match. It's gone back and forth pretty much every couple times.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's exciting at this point, right? We're tied, and we can't stay tied. So anything could happen. One one missed go for it, one great dodge, one terrible dodge, one perfect block.
Or
Like-
even a fatality.
Exactly, and you gotta bear in mind, in Blood Bowl, everything is D6. You can roll 2 of them, you can but ultimately they're D6s, which means the odds are only ever so good. You can always reasonably fail.
We have many
Bup, 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 bup.
Hey, myself as well as you.
That's fair. You can
mean-
see these players are taking it slow. They're using their
Yeah.
time, and I think as well they should, right? It's getting down the wire. They're feeling the tension. I'm saying things to make them more tense. You know, it's
But I mean, that is the beauty of a playoff game because, you know, there can't end on 0-0. We'll still add turns at the end. I mean, obviously, we don't want to go to what was that game like.
right. And that's what's great about these guys, right? Neither one of these guys are in the top 2. Neither one of these guys are in the top 5 for win rate for this season, because these bashy teams can play to tie, and when they pick up that win because they got the money they need,
Yeah.
they can make enough points to make the playoffs often. At this point, they're both out of their comfort zone because there is no playing to tie. You know, you gotta win. You can't just murder. You can't just hang in there. You can't just stop a point. You gotta make a point.
Yeah, I mean, in games like this, you're going to see a lot of posturing, a lot of setup. I mean, at the same time, those games are super high risk because even though your setup can easily be broken. You know, if Nuffle decides you're going to roll a 1 and your whole half of the field just gets knocked down, it's going to happen. You
Right.
just have to
You
deal
could
with
get
it.
pitch invaded. You
Yeah.
never know. And I'm not even talking about the team name. Like, for those who don't know, a pitch invasion is one of the rolls you can have at each kickoff. And when it happens, every single player has to roll to see if they're knocked down. They might even be knocked down for 2 turns. I've seen entire teams. I've seen 12 people or 11 people. It wouldn't have been 12. I've seen 11 people go down, just like that. And the other team has free range of the field. So there's really huge amount. Josh has used up his time here, and he knows it. It's one of the great contradictions of Blood Bowl. You want to be considered with your time. You want to take more time on the plays that are important. But there comes a point where you took enough time on that play that's important that suddenly you have to shotgun 3 or 4 decisions because you're done. You're up against 20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, there's some players who are just super fast on the play. Some of them are very slow.
Yeah.
I think you have to find a balance where you can be assertive, but also try and make decisions for yourself. I think you and I are very even pace, but knowing when to slow down.
I think maybe, for myself, I tend to go long. I tend to use that time.
I feel like it depends on what team you're into playing. So I think when you played your Zons, you're a bit more...
Yeah, it was clearer what I needed to do. And I play my Zons like a phalanx. They all have the same skills and abilities, which means my game plan doesn't have to change when someone goes down. And I think that allowed me to be quick with my moves. Whereas here, we're looking at very specialized teams. A Hobgoblin is never going to be a Bull Centaur.
That is very true.
You know, a Thrower is never going to be a Black Orc. And as a result, when I'm Ooh.
That was a very good reroll.
That is what rerolls are for. That right there is exactly what rerolls are for. But yeah, when a wrench gets thrown in for these guys, they gotta rethink not just their tactic, they gotta rethink their strategy sometimes.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, we saw that happen a couple of times, especially when Marduk, failed his dodge roll, almost died.
Absolutely.
Those kind of things impact that line so much.
Yeah, and then this guy stepped back, reformed his strategy, and prevented the point. You know, it's a tough thing, but it does mean sometimes you run up against that clock. That is a 1-die block, guys. Sky is known for his caution, which means that block was important to him. He wanted those dwarves freed up. I can see why. He's got 2 folks who can move now, who before were gonna be stationary, covered by a single orc. So it worked out well for him. But that right there is an example of, again, changing up your playstyle because it's the finals, and that conservative style you normally go with may just not cut it. Forming up a nice little cage. Actually, that's a pretty fucking fearsome cage.
Yes. So, oh man, this is gonna be rough. Some of Josh's guys still has locked down for this turn. It'll be interesting to see how he's gonna formulate a plan of attack.
Mm-hmm.
That cage is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I think Josh is in a tough spot. Again, you've got to bear in mind that every one of those orcs you see standing, we don't see it because, again, there's not a spectator on it. But the fact of the matter is, every one of those orcs is 2 dwarves, right? Like, if you've got 4 strength and they've got 3 strength, you are 2 of them.
Yeah.
So, to say nothing about his guard and all of those things, I would not say he's not in the position he wants to be in. He's also he's not at the point where we're looking at Hail Marys yet. Like, there is still like strategy to be had here to make this thing work, I think.
Yeah, I think there's pressure on both sides because of that. Because Sky wants to score, but he also doesn't want to put himself in an insecure position where the ball can get stolen.
Yep.
I mean, we thought Josh was in a very good position last half, and that turned around.
Right, and again, let's also bear in mind the turn count. We're at 10 of 16, and we're still not over the halfway line. Sky has that leeway, he has that pacing, right? Because if he doesn't make the point, the game continues. He doesn't end his half. But if that happens, we're in a place where we start adding 3 turns each turn, and that means Josh has an opportunity to make a dramatic play and turn it around, even if Sky gets that point.
Yeah. But I think Josh's team is actually kind of well built for this kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because of the guard that we brought up so many times, you need to be very wary about keeping yourself still in one area for a long period of time.
Yep, that was a solid hit right there too. That guy went down. Again, dwarves have armor. Dwarves have thick skull. Injure them. You know, if you get desperate, there's always fouls. But in a world where you don't have any in a world where you don't have anything to prevent penalties, which he doesn't, I don't know. I don't know that that's something I would consider. You know, it's interesting. It's been a pretty clean league, honestly. There's not a ton of fouling going on. I think people are just risk averse there, and at this point, when your team's already built and you don't have the talents for it, it's probably the right call.
Yeah, I mean, this season we had a bunch of teams that just started.
Yep.
And even the teams who came from the last season were super limited. I think in the first season we had a fair amount of losses on pretty much everyone who did play and continued the team. And that kind of kept things pretty even.
And let me step back real quick and go to that blitz. There was a go for it involved there, so that he could attack with his high strength orc and put himself in position. Now that 5 strength orc is against that bull centaur, so he's still got an advantage despite Sky's placement of his 4 strength guy. And that's what we've been talking about, where those roles Josh has, he can use them to bully a team that, you know, may have some more ball movement, and a coach who's got a longer career. This is Sky has some things to maneuver past. You can see Josh has set up kind of two bulwarks in the way.
Yep.
So that Sky can't relax. He can't just make a breakaway play the way Josh did.
And breaking line is so risky.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't break away and just run one dude out because that dude's gonna get hit. Josh had the luxury to do that because Sky wasn't covering the backfield the way that Josh is. Sky continues to make his blocks very well. He picks them well. He assists well. They're earned, but nonetheless, there's always a luck component, and he's making the rolls he needs to make.
I mean, this is definitely one of those times where we're hoping to see a full knockout. We're going to get 2 stars down on the guy.
He takes the push instead of using the reroll. It's tempting. You want to get rid of those tackle zones. You want to make room to make progress.
Yeah.
But he's being very conservative with those rolls because he's only got 2 of them left.
Well, even though those pushes are very respectable.
Yeah. Well, and I think he knows that. I think they both know actually. Looking at how fast the rerolls are going now, compared to how much faster they went in the first half, I think they both know that they're bashy teams. This game could go long. If you're turn 21 or 24, you don't want to be at 0 rerolls because you were banking on a 16-turn game.
And I think teams like this also are built in such a sturdy way. I mean, you have standoff, you have dodge, you have block. You have all these tools that are going to allow you to play without having to spend most of your time.
That's fair. Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, really, I think you're going to see most of the rerolls end up going to picking up the ball, passing the ball, those kind of plays.
Well, that or when you have to, you get both down. You can't afford both down, so you reroll.
Or
Right?
going for it.
Yep. Although Sky has sure feet, so he gets his going for it rerolls for free as long as they're on a bolt centaur. You guys, I gotta say, I don't know how to feel about the progress Sky made there. Like he didn't fail any blocks. Like in terms of the plays, he got through every play without losing, but.
I mean, that's like a 0.5 progress. Like he's not taking a full step forward, but he's getting there.
Yeah, exactly. But these orcs are all still in his way. His cage is not as sexy as it was before. Like a couple of good judicious blocks, and guys, I haven't done the math. I'm not thinking of anything in particular, but a couple of judicious blocks and good rolls could reverse this thing quickly.
One thing to pretty much respect is how Josh is still having his guys in a pretty organized fashion. They're always still together. They're like, I don't want to mean it in a offensive way, but he's abusing his guys as much as he can.
No, he should. He absolutely should. And again, I think this is it's a significant stepping up of his game. His natural instinct is you go all in, you beat the shit out of them, they fall, they die, you get the ball.
Yeah.
And
Orc's gonna orc, man.
And hey, it's gotten into the finals. I don't want to knock the strategy, and we may see a return to form, and maybe it's going to be the right call. But at this point, it's no longer like, what do I believe in? It's what's going to work right now. He's actually like, he's taking that time. He's spreading out his screen placement, and we're looking at some good plays. You know, probably some of his best play of the season.
Apparently, all that time off from playing Blood Bowl has made him a better player.
And you know, I don't only want to focus on Josh here. Sky is playing more within his normal style. Sky's he's a builder type. He makes a play and he sticks to it. And we're seeing that here, but it's pretty. It's significant. It's successful. He's scary. He can lose. I would say, of the two of them, Sky has not succeeded as well on his rolls, on his luck, as Josh has. And there's no helping that. Luck is luck. You get knuckled. But it hasn't been disastrous. And his solid strategy and his dogged sticking to it and his contingency plans have allowed him to continue to just... He can lose an exchange and still look tied. He can lose another exchange and still look tied.
I mean, that's always been the dangerous thing about Sky. Like, you could play a fully team and play him on a fresh team and you're still really worried.
Right, exactly, because he's a risk-averse player, but that serves him sometimes by meaning that he doesn't do anything to get himself hurt, and he stays a threat long after you feel like it should be over. And that's how we are where we are now. He's tied. He's got possession, and he's got all the time in the world to sit back and play that game.
Although I think it's a little scary now.
They're narrowing in on him, yeah. fun things about playing an Underworld team, which has been my team. I'm probably switching it up because they're awful. But,
Well, there are no Chaos Wars.
but right, Chaos Dwarves are super overpowered. But one of the rough things is, or the great thing, sorry, is that you are forced to have those sort of think outside the box, do something desperate or unexpected plays all the time.
Yeah.
Which means your opponent has no idea what you're gonna do. They just the ball could be anywhere at any moment because
Turn touchdown.
you're going crazy. It's kind of the opposite of Sky's normal mode of play, which frankly is a more successful mode.
It's very refined, where you're just plain drunk.
Right, exactly. You gotta Jackie Chan that shit. Ladies and gentlemen, Sky has just said Jesus. Not Babylonian. You guys. He's having a hard time breaking that line. Again, Sky's making his hits, or at least avoiding true failure. But, yeah, but he's also avoiding true success, according to his own words. And an attrition game doesn't favor Sky. We're looking at a world where well, I don't know what
I think it
I
does.
actually, I don't know who an attrition game favors. Josh has much more murder. Sky has much more survivability. So, whoa. There's another one of those type of plays that Sky hates to make. He hates to do anything where he's at one die, where a single fuck up could cost him. But sometimes that's what you gotta do, especially in the finals.
I think once you have this many turns left and we have this many rerolls, you're free to make more liberal options or choices.
You're a little free. What if he dropped the ball now, it bounced a couple times, went out of bounds, and suddenly it's over here in this half?
Even in this situation, you guys still on that side of the ball. I mean, really, it depends on where the ball's going to land. I mean, that's true for everything.
Sure. And you're right, he's got some leeway, but he hasn't got a ton of leeway. We're at turn 12. If he loses possession and Josh scores, that's the game. That's the game. It's turn 12.
Yeah.
And now Josh is not the fastest team. No!
Hey!
So that injury is gonna hurt him. He's down, but you're right. At least the ball bounced into his own guy's hand.
Yeah.
And actually advanced it forward, although he's covered by an orc who could stand up soon. I don't know what to think of that, except that injuries are bad. Okay.
Preach. So he actually decided not to blitz with Tuck Track.
Dirk.
I guess there's no way for him to kind of create more room for his other players. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that boy's in the open. He's in the open. He's a hobgoblin, not a dwarf. Again, he's surrounded by his friends. There's a cage there.
Yeah, but in that situation, Super Duck's not a one.
That.
Ooh.
So it's covered by a bull centaur. But Sky's sweating. Sky is going to be sweating. There's no doubt about it. Losing the ball there, down a man. It's covered by, arguably his best player. He's got guys to stand up. It's in his opponent's half. It's not all bad,
I mean, it's still
but
a
it's
momentum
it's more than 50% bad. That was not what he wanted. So we're seeing one of those clusterfucks where you start your guys are so packed up, and they have so little move, and so little dodge, and so much strength. The only thing that makes sense is to bash. And now the question isn't, am I going to make my block? The question is, if I make my block, who can I push into who? Can I push into who else to shift the field around? And again, even when you're in a bash state, when you're looking at teams like these matched up against each other, ultimately, even your bashes are about positioning.
Yeah.
And about fuck that dwarf.
Yeah.
Your bashes are multi-determined, as my psychiatrist would say.
We have 4 turns of food.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to? Well, I don't want to put.
Well, what's your prediction for this game? What do you think happens?
It really depends on Sky's next turn. I think that is going to be determining factor.
I'm going to make my prediction. I say we are tied at 16. We are tied all the way to 24 points. It becomes a game of attrition, and I don't know who wins it. But I'm looking at this right here. I'm looking at the way we've been walking around the halfway mark for most of this game. I'm looking at Sky's conservatism, and I'm looking at the fact that Josh, frankly, can't afford to be too flashy, or at least maybe he's worried about it.
I mean, we're definitely seeing the true Josh now.
I look at all of that, and I say to myself, this game goes long.
Well, I think the injury that Sky took was pretty key to helping Josh get the game.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely true. And we're in a world where there are no more turnovers except for a score, which means your injured people, even your knockout people, like, nobody's coming back. There's no reset. Like you go to the end.
Yeah.
You finish.
Josh still has all the rerolls too.
Wow, you're right. Josh is bringing back those rerolls. Again, he's playing conservative. He's not playing the bash game we're used to.
Wow.
There's a nice block. And it's tough, right? This guy's out of
Hold on.
Oh, he had strip ball, guys. I didn't even see that. Oh, that's beautiful. So Sky didn't have to use a reroll because the strip ball, even a push, is gonna knock the ball out of your opponent's hands if he doesn't have sure hands. And what orc has sure hands when you can be punching people harder, right?
I
Like,
think someone actually don't there.
bup up. That was a.
Yeah, he didn't have a
Guys, my commentary is great. And I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, don't even worry about it.
I was gonna let you get away with that one.
Thank you.
Frenzy.
Well, Frenzy wouldn't have pushed him off the field. He'd have had to go further north. But they're in he's in a decent spot. The real question here, the scary thing is, what happens when that ball goes up? Because I'd say right now odds are 50-50 that thing stays on the field.
That is a pretty. Yeah. Yeah.
And if it happens, it could be anywhere. They could drop it like on the 1 yard line for either team.
That is exactly how it works. Yes.
Yep.
I mean, the problem is like no matter who picks up the ball, it's not going to be secure.
That's true. I mean, I have yet to see a final that doesn't end in a clusterfuck like this, where every character is covered, none of them can dodge, everything is just, it's just a fucking pudding in the middle of the field, and you just sort of have to see what the dice do. Pudding is what are you doing, Bailey?
I feel like you don't remember your final.
My final did that at one point.
Okay, as long as you sort of.
Well, you're very dodgy. That's kind of your
Right, well then I broke out of the pudding because I'm a raisin and I rise to the top.
And then your team became Skaven, really.
You guys, I'm trying. My analogies are limited here.
I didn't say you didn't try.
lots of pudding.
I love pudding. Thank you. Who doesn't?
I was gonna say probably people who are lactose. I think you can get pudding that.
That has no milk in it. You
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Why would you do that?
You're talking about pudding and blood.
Because you're lactose intolerant. That's why you would do that, Bailey.
I feel like you're already making choices in life.
Sorry, guys. Bailey has lactose tolerance privilege, and
What?
he's got kind of a blind
What does
spot.
that even mean?
Blind spot here about folks who just can't handle it.
I mean, that's like what being lactose is about. You can't handle it.
Wow. Wow.
You guys, I love how little has happened while we've been bullshitting over here. Yeah, and you know, it's not because these guys aren't doing things. It's because every fucking move matters here. There is nothing you can do without risk, and everything you do could have such a huge payoff. So the amount of thought that has to go into each block is just it's significant, and it means that we're looking at a little bit of a slower game before somebody finally gets desperate and tries something crazy, which is my prediction.
I think Josh is at home right here. Like, this is just, he's used to bashing and getting to that ball, and this is his perfect position.
Paul says he's technically not really.
Well, he's more murdering. He takes him down, and as long as his sky's not moving, Josh is going to win.
Yeah, I think Dave makes a great point in case in here. This is what Josh is used to. He belongs in a bash game, and it's slow, but in a slow game, he's used to gradually taking people out and then making 1 yard, 2 yards, 5 yards, 10 yards. So that's some great analysis from our correspondent David. Fuck you, asshole, for winning the last season, Swanson.
Very
Oh, he
creative
picked up
ways.
the ball.
Holy shit.
So we're looking at a world again where Josh is making some plays, but he's down to the point where his time is so tight that his decisions are like he's got to go on what he's just figured out. He can't do any more thinking. And we're down 6.
Butchery!
Guys, if you didn't know, if the game is tied, there will be overtime. Just FYI for all of you on the stream.
It's actually gonna be even more interesting because of the real situation.
No, absolutely. He starts really consuming them, right? Like,
Yeah.
like he's trying to make some moves. It's a good hit by Marduk. I actually think failing that first block and getting a go for it was great for him. It puts him further downfield, more in the way. It's a good place to be.
We have some juicy plays.
We got...
We have options.
Guys, there are a lot of options here. This guy's on the side of the field. If you haven't watched this game before, that means if he gets pushed off, he loses that ball. It can go anywhere. He also has to roll for a possible injury. He's got chances to do that, but making the ball go anywhere, it's risky. It can hurt you. He's got ways to block that guy into his own guys. He's got ways... He could just sit there and not make the block and force him to make the dodge or try the attempt himself. There are options here, and they're all interesting.
Yes, but I think even that has its own problems. Like, you can't just let Josh.
It's not what I would do. I wouldn't give him the initiative, but again, I'm the guy who lost last championship, so take my word with a grain of salt.
I would think it was a lot of salt.
Shut the fuck up, Bailey. He's doing it. That's a push out, and that ball is going to go God knows
6
where.
out.
Oh!
Oh! Right into the middle of the clusterfuck, ladies and gentlemen. It's anybody's ball, but the guy who gets the guy who gets to make moves now is Sky. The guy who gets to clear that field and define the positioning. Now he's got to make his rolls, but he's the first guy to get to act on what just happened.
Yeah.
Although the way he's
There's a lot of tackle zones there. You just have to be very careful.
and the way he's checking these rolls after he moves the boy in leads me to believe he didn't think about guard until it was too late. He's not making his blocks. He's not in a bad
It's better
position.
than getting knocked out. I feel as though if he got knocked out here, it would be really close to the end for him.
It could. How many? So, how many guys have we got on the field for each of these guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that?
No, I think he has one more guy than you right now.
Right, but he just knocked one off the field, though, right?
Oh, that is true. Yeah, so it is even. I'm sorry.
Somebody with basic arithmetic, text us at I can't do arithmetic. Please don't text us there. It's not our real address.
I mean, the worst part is we probably won't even see these guys on the sides get into this game.
No, there's a very good chance we won't because they're only going to do it at the start of a new drive, and a new drive happens at a score. By the time we
Although
get...
I think you do still get a chance to do the drive in an overtime game.
And
So
that,
you have to finish the 3 turns.
So, guys, the way overtime works, if we get to turn 16 and there's no winner, it'll add, actually I think it's 4 turns. I might be wrong. 3 or 4 turns. Those turns will play out no matter what. Someone could score on the first one, and they'll still play out. Which means the other team has time to try and make it up. These teams are not highly mobile, right? So, if Josh scores first, and Sky has 2 or 3 turns to try and fix it, it's looking bad for Sky. If Sky scores first, it's still looking bad for Josh, but it's a little less bad because he's got more distance on his run. He's got 3 agi for that throw. He'll have to play like a fucking wood elf, but it could happen for him.
I mean, the problem is that as we've seen this whole game, these 2 teams can solve very easily.
Right, exactly. Most of this game has been stalling out. So as much as I want to believe in that dramatic play where someone makes that point and the other team turns it around and we go into double overtime,
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is we're probably looking at a slugfest until the shambles of one team watch sadly while the other guy walks it in.
I mean, obviously, we're not seeing doping.
Yeah.
Or doping. Much more doping.
That's right, Bob.
I think if we just saw one more death, I would like this game a lot.
That's right, Jim. That's what the fans pay to see. Josh, stop shaking your head at me, you dickhole.
Probably should explain to them.
Right. Yeah, since I'm explaining things that for people who haven't watched. Blood Bowl, because it's a Warhammer-based game, there's a lot of lore that they write for it that no one gives a shit about. And
Especially in this universe.
it includes the announcers who are a vampire with a very high voice like this now, Bob, and an ogre who talks like this. And the lines in this game are fucking terrible. They just make the worst jokes
I mean,
ever.
to be fair, it's supposed to be cheesy.
You're right, it's supposed to be cheesy, and I feel like they captured the flavor of the universe, and actually, the fact that I do these guys means that I actually kind of love Jim and Bob.
They are probably one of the better parts of this game.
Yeah, I kind of love them. Even though there aren't enough lines, and they say the same shit every game 30 times, they're great. So, point is, play Blood Bowl. If you don't play Blood Bowl, play Blood Bowl. Look past the problems with the UI. Look past the fact that there are bugs. The fact is the game design is on point, and you should play this game. Back to the game, it can do— Holy shit! Oh my god, you guys!
The ball moved more than 2 spaces.
Holy crap.
You guys, that was a career-defining play for Josh Rupletsky. also known as Platinum Pletsky.
Who calls him that?
People who were here when he got platinum on Blar Blar. And then he got cocky and went to far as so many of us do. It's not unstoppable. I think Sky also is a guy who loves to lay traps. It's entirely possible that I've missed I've missed the steel jaws closing in. But that looked like a hell of a play, guys. That looked like a hell of a play. And on turn 15 for Sky,
He has to make some plays, some major plays.
something has to happen here. He can't ignore it. I don't know that guy's going to get there by turn 16, by the way, without going for it. So he may have to go on
I think
turn.
he has enough moves.
He may have to go on turn 17. You think so?
I believe a half of a field is 11 or 12.
12.
So even if he has, I'm pretty sure he has 6 moves, which he confirmed.
Yep.
So Sky needs to make some plays. That is a play.
There's Sky making a beautiful blitz. He knocks that guy out of the way. Now that blitz was done before the run, and it allows him to move without having to make a dodge roll. And now he's got it.
This is very Sky.
Now he's down to. So a player like me, and I'm a reckless guy, would have just gone for it right away.
Yeah.
Sky here is thinking about every go for it because again he's a risk-averse player, and the fact that his odds are 1 out of 36 to fail doesn't mean he doesn't think about it. Like he does the math.
Those are a lot of tackle zones there.
They are. That's a ton of tackle zones. And you look, Sky made beautiful position. He's right in front of that guy. There's no dodge.
Oh, he broke that tackle.
The break tackle finally works.
Oh my god, this team's overpowered.
Asher's going for it. And he knows he has to do all 3 go for it, but it breaks his heart every time he takes a risk like that. So he's doing them one at a time.
But look at those rolls.
He's doing
5,
them one at a
4,
time.
6. He's making it happen.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He is. But it's hard for him. He hates the gospel of Sky is roll the dice as few times as you can. And I think it's a pretty fucking good code to live by.
I mean, hey, he's in the finals.
Yeah. Yep, he is where he is for a reason.
Uh-oh. We're gonna have Are we? He's been considering. This is pretty much going to make or break Joss's chance to use Storm. So Josh is trying to make some room for his Very good play. Ugly orc guy comes in to support Morphic. Morphic. Oh, and he's gonna go for it. It's not that bad. Definitely knocks him down.
Just made a giant wall in front of his own dude.
Yes, he did. I mean, a play like that comes in trades. Like, you have someone who's going to at least be by Marduk when Marduk gets up. Or you're going to just have Marduk not give a crap and just break tackle and mow down. We'll see how that plays out. I would say what he's doing, but I feel like this guy's next play is pretty important that I don't want to reveal anything.
I took the last race. Took the last race.
Whoa! A little bit of break tackle action on the Orc side this time. Yeah, that is exactly where he wants to be. And I gotta tell you guys the truth, I'm not sure if Sky was thinking about that break tackle. It hasn't come into play yet. There's too much to think about every round. That could be a surprise.
I mean, you still have to play because even if he doesn't score, he needs to make sure he at least has a chance to knock people down.
Is Marduk down? Sorry, I've
Yes,
been
he
away.
is.
Oh.
Josh played fabulous turns where he was able to more pick with the other two blockers.
So you guys, here's the thing. We just need to give Sky a Lifetime Achievement Award if he doesn't win this round, because he's really good. I just want him to have it. I just want him to have something. It's a Lifetime Achievement thing.
Yeah, I would give him some credit. He still has it. He has an opportunity.
Man, he is looking at two bad options here. Two times when he's gonna have to do too many rolls. He's thinking about doing it with his. Is Marduk Marduk's the frenzy one. So he's thinking, do I go with the bad risk I don't want to do?
Black Orcs have tackle? And does break tackle? I'm
Sorry, what?
Do his Black Orcs have tackle, and does that...
Not a match like that.
No, not important.
Because it says on the ability it only cancels it.
Oh,
There's another reason why.
But yeah, so Sky's decided not to attack with his. Oh, guys! So he used that blitz just to make some space and reduce the number of dodges he needs to make. That's gonna allow him to move forward. He's still gonna have to make those go for it's, but again, they're 1 out of 36 failures, so they're not terrible. And try and get some coverage on there before he makes his really dramatic play that he's been considering. No, well, I don't know. I guess he's just trying to stall it out.
I mean, that's the beauty of Blitz, because Blitz lets you attack or tackle and then move right after, where normally you can't do that.
As long as you know how to do it with the UI, which is not great.
No.
But it can be done, guys.
Oh, that's sure feet.
Them sure feet. Show enough.
man.
It's a good play, guys.
It is.
It's a good play. Is that a black orc with the ball or a regular orc?
It's a Blitzer.
So it's not like his dodge is the worst in the game. If Josh has to go for it, then if he chooses to. There. All right. Marduk makes it when it matters. He might fail earlier. He might die technically.
He's there when you need him.
But you know what? Like a good neighbor, Marduk is there. There we go. But now that we look at those blocks that don't matter for fuck all, this guy is making every single one.
You probably want to open the beer before you.
Shut the fuck up.
Maybe he's done with doing
At this point, you probably want to open the beer.
Here's the thing. I don't have to drive. This guy has to drive. Possibly after he wins, but also possibly after he loses. And that's going to be terrible, because I'm going to be in the car speaking in exactly this tone of voice.
It's going to be a car full of losers.
Alright, so we're in the carpool lane right now. Josh is thinking about merging out, but there's that SUV on the right. Let's see what he does.
Oh, look, it's Sam Sartre that gets jackknifed.
Yep. This guy's got to be thinking, do I really want to make the harbor exit, or am I willing to wait?
He's probably thinking that orcs are bullshit.
I thought Chaos Dwarves are bullshit.
Well, not in this game.
That's right, Bob.
To be fair, Marduk is doing a hell of a job this half.
Well, it's about fucking time. Frankly, Marduk was a big disappointment in the first half. He used up rerolls and still failed.
And an
He used
apothecary.
up the apothecary and could have died. So Marduk has frankly some splaining to do.
I mean, for all we know, he could have just been a sacrificial cow.
Like, it's good that he's paying off now because let me tell you, you'd fire him otherwise. He has
Yep.
not been doing good.
Slaughter! 7 out.
Yep. That's really rough. That frees up those orcs in the middle to basically pile on quick, and now Sky's under pressure. Guys, we have 16 which means we are going into overtime. So even
Well,
if,
we could. I'm not sure.
even if Josh, no, we are. So even if Josh succeeds right now at everything he's trying to attempt, he's looking at 3 more turns, which is gonna give Sky at least some hope. Of No! I lied to you guys. He made his move and he's in. Wow, that's the game.
That was impressive. That's why you have to give it to him. That's turn 16, we've all made that play. We've all seen this. It's the last turn. We need to do this. We need to dodge out of 5 zone.
Damn. Oh my god.
That was
God,
exciting.
you guys, like...
That first half wasn't, but that second half, holy.
And everything that happened there, I feel like both teams played excellently. There's not a lot there that anyone did that I can disagree with,
No.
to be honest with you. Like, there are little stylistic choices, but the fact of the matter is, these guys played a solid game, and Josh earned that win. Good job.
That's harsh.
Woo.
Losing the playoffs and having to validate your own match.
What's that?
Do I hit it?
Hit it! End the season!
And that ends the Cradle's second season.
It is decided.
Thank you all for coming.
All right, Dave.
Thanks, everybody.
Dave needs to pass the trophy.
Yep.
We appreciate your
Hell
time.
of a match.
Those of you on the stream will not get to see Dave passing the trophy, but
Do we have pictures?
trust
Oh,
me.
we do need to take a picture.
Yeah, well, your phone's better than me. Get it done.
All right.
Make it happen,
All right,
Captain.
we will take a picture of them passing the trophy first, and then we will.
Get Josh with the trophy by himself on the background of his choice.
All right.
Well done, sir.
How do I?
Well done.